on to the second part of the 12 Days of Doctor Who, I'm looking at Patrick Troughton, the cosmic hobo and second incarnation, in his classic episode The Tomb of the Cybermen. At least others have told me it's a classic. I don't see it that way, to be honest. Don't kill me, please. I think what makes the serial special in the eyes of some viewers is that it's one of Troughton's complete serials, as a majority of them are either incomplete or entirely missing. And considering that anyone who finds another Hartnell or Troughton episode is pretty much hailed as a god by the BBC, I reckon that's at least part of the reason why people are so attached to this serial. Anyway, so we begin the serial with a reintroduction to the characters and plot for all the new viewers.
What do you think?
Don't know.
I love his look. I bring you from smelly Victorian London to a glamorous futuristic spaceship. You say, I don't know?
These are for controlling our flight.
Next thing you'll be saying women can vote. What's with your radical ideas, man? The interior of the TARDIS looks a bit strange, but that's because I'm not as familiar with Troughton's era as I am with other doctors. Also, I noted an important note that I believe is worth noting. We hear this remark.
Yes, about 450 years old.
So that means in the time between this episode and Tom Baker's whinge at the start of Pyramids of Mars, these guys ended up with 300 years worth of experience. That means between Tom Baker and Matt Smith, they've managed to squeeze 7 doctors into not even 500 years worth of stories. No wonder this guy forgets how old he is. Even the writers do as well. Time for a basic overview. The Doctor and his companions Jamie and Victoria land on a planet with these explorers. These guys want to find the Tomb of the Cybermen. Then they find the Tomb of the Cybermen. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. This is one of those serials where the Doctor accidentally helps the plot along. If he just stayed in the TARDIS fiddling with his recorder, a few of these people might still be alive. There's a few explorers, and I can't remember the name of any of them, so let's just come up with some. Fake American 1 and 2, Beehive Lady, vaguely Russian dude, and the rest. By the way, is this meant to be in the future? If so, that's a pretty primitive detonator. I was expecting something like the ones you see on Star Trek. But who cares? We blew it up! Woo! Let's go and venture into this dark, spooky cave, which is definitely safe, and that's the first red shirt for the episode.
Hold it right there, friend.
Love how you call him a friend, yet you're pointing a gun at his face.
We must stay. Oh, Doctor!
Oh, must we? I don't like the look of those things at all.
Oh, Victoria, shut up. I know a lot of people whinge about this mostly mute black guy being the slave of the group, but frankly, I reckon today's feminists will be ripping the serial in half with all of the sexist remarks made to the ladies of the group. I can't blame them though. Victoria is just a wimp. Look how they have to drag her inside. That is a definite display of true bravery right there.
Don't you think it's a bit...
A bit short? Oh, I shouldn't worry about that. Look at Jamie's. Hey, I'll have you know...
I think the women had better remain here.
Rubbish. We can make a party.
Hang on a second. You were whimpering 30 seconds ago about going inside the tomb in the first place, and now you're going, I don't need no man, off we go into the wilderness, woo! I also find it interesting how they technically introduced those cyber silverfish thingies 40 years before Nightmare and Silver used them. Victoria, you idiot!
Yes. It's a cyber mat.
Oh, so they're called cyber mats. Nah, I reckon cyberfish is better. So they figure out how to get into the foyer, I guess, of the tomb, and waste a lot of time fiddling with buttons and arguing. Also, it takes the death of 2 men before they finally decide that, maybe we should get out of this hellhole, sir.
Did I hear you right? You are paid to take orders.
I was paid to do an American accent, sir. And of course, it's going to take a few days to fix the rockets, so we'll just have to hang around in this creepy place for more stuff to happen.
But you and Jamie can go back to the TARDIS if you wish.
I'll stay with you.
Half an hour ago, you refused to go inside. Now you're refusing to leave. What? Let's just say I'm very glad Victoria didn't last long as a companion. So they figure out how to open this trash can and decide to head downstairs while leaving Victoria alone with the clearly evil lady. Great job, guys. Oh, I'm so bored. I even noticed how the bottom of the screen has this weird pattern thing going on. Knew it! I knew you should get drugged, and the villain would do this, and let's move on. And contrary to what they were expecting, there are Cybermen in those tombs. This is the Tomb of the Cybermen, for God's sake! Also, that gunshot definitely got his arm and not his chest. So the second villain starts up the defrosting process, and we get to spend the next few minutes watching them slowly break through glad wrap barriers, because that's really exciting stuff. Also, when did this primary school art project grow fur? They didn't have fur before. Did the budget go up in between filming episodes? I will admit though that seeing the Cybermen after they fully emerge is quite chilling.
You shall be like us.
Oh man, that's creepy. And while the voice might be cool at first, by the time you get to this...
You are the wizard.
It's hard to make out what they're saying. Then the Cybermen go on and on and on about how they're going to conquer the universe, but then, jailbreak! These aggressive Cybermen noises are also incredibly annoying. It sounds like someone's had a seizure while using a pitch knob. They also spend a lot of time threatening to do stuff and not a lot of time actually doing the stuff. So Fake American 1 jumps down with some smoke bombs and manages to distract the Cybermen long enough for our heroes and the villain to get away. But wait, hang on a second. He only had 2 smoke bombs to start with.
Hey, Jim, what are those bombs loaded with? Smoke. Great, give us a couple, will you?
And yet there's at least 5 explosions.
Come on, you guys! Run for it!
Let's shout really loud so the Cybermen will know that we're escaping! And because we're escaping up a ladder, of course the Cybermen will grab someone's foot because that's an obligated cliche whenever you go up a ladder in a television show chase sequence. I mean, it's great that they're smart enough to lock up the bad guys for the moment, but why not tie them up with something so they can't pick up a gun and start shooting? Idiots!
Between you and me, I'm really quite lively, actually.
Although we won't start seeing this until your 3rd incarnation, so just shut up. This scene with the Doc and Victoria really hit a nerve with me, considering I first watched this episode not long after a close relative of mine passed away.
I shall never forget him. Never.
No, of course you won't. But, you know, the memory of him won't always be a sad one.
I think it will.
It feels a bit out of place amongst the rest of the serial, yes, but it's still a nice scene and it helps to build Troughton's Doctor's character. But on another note, does she not hear the bing, 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 bing of that art project? These cyberfish aren't so much as scary as they remind me of a puppy jumping on their owner in the middle of the night. So the Doctor does some Bill Nye science and techno-babbles and explanation for the cyberfish going offline.
Generated an electrical field and confused their tiny metal minds. You might almost say they've had a complete mental breakdown.
Ooh. Dad joke of the century. But then horrors! The cyber controller reappears and they manage to force it into a regeneration chamber that is far inferior to the ones the Borg use. I don't remember the Cybermen needing to be recharged or revitalized or whatever. Was this something only the classic Cybermen did? Jamie also learns very quickly that ropes are not effective when the prisoner can just hulk his way out of the prison. I'm so confused by the bad guys' accents.
That does not concern you.
Well, they might as well know, Eric.
Are they British? Russian? Martians? I have no freaking clue. And these idiots also make the mistake of thinking that this part of the villain duo is dead, but of course he's not dead. Why would he be? If my explanation of this serial has been fairly plain, then you'll have a good idea of how plain and boring this serial is. There is so much rambling. Just shoot him! How was a classic episode either? I was bored for most of the time, and Victoria just makes me want to go punch someone in the face. Preferably her. But I did learn that apparently Cybermen spew out elephant toothpaste when they die, and that these art projects can now magically escape out into the world without making their annoying bing bing noise from before.
That really is the end of the Cybermen, isn't it?
Yes, Jamie? On the other hand, I never like to make predictions.
Because that means we can't use those villains again in future episodes.
We have our own flying machine.
Flying machine?
At least it works.
Long story short, I'm bored. Serial's done. Thanks for coming to my tech talk. Next time in the TARDIS, John Pertwee crashes onto the scene with enough smoke to choke a group of chain smokers.